My next guest is one of the 3 European leaders who visited Kyiv to meet with President Zelensky about 2 weeks ago to express their support for Ukraine. You can see him during that visit here in blue. Well, Janeza Janše is the Prime Minister of Slovenia and joins me now from the capital, Ljubljana. How did you find President Zelensky when you saw him?
Well, good morning, Becky. We found President Zelensky determined to fight. And after our visit, I'm convinced 100% that Ukraine will win. But the time is of essence because every day people are dying. So we have to do everything we can to support them, to help them to defend themselves.
Well, we need to find a solution to all of this, don't we? And everybody wants an end to what's going on. What do you understand to be the details of Ukraine's proposal for Russia after yesterday's talks? And what do you make of that proposal?
Well, when we spoke with President Zelensky and Prime Minister Shmyhal and their colleagues, they told us that Ukraine, after what happened, they are prepared to change the constitution. They are prepared to propose to their nation for a referendum, changing the constitution and abandoning their wish to join NATO. But at the same time, they want institutional guarantees for their security, and they see these institutional guarantees for the security in the full membership of the European Union and some stronger guarantees from the world powers than they got in Budapest Memorandum 1994. So I think that they're serious.
Can you just be a little clearer about that? Yeah.
Well, I think that they realized, sadly, that they need NATO now, and they don't have NATO membership and Article 5 guarantees. So why to stick with this goal? Because currently it's not helping them. So I think they made some kind of pragmatic decision. Because after they will win this war, I think that there will be NATO wanting them to join. The situation will be quite different than it is when they will win this war. The Ukrainian army will be one of the strongest, if not the strongest army on the European continent, aside of Russia. But this last sentence is also questionable. So I think that now the ball is in our field, in the European field, when we have to provide as fast as possible track to the full membership, and on NATO members or democratic countries across the world to support Ukraine with as much military help as possible. Because this is the only thing which will stop the war.
And let's talk about that, because the US is working with Slovakia to identify the requirements that will allow them to give S-300s to Ukraine. Many countries have been, quite frankly, hesitant to send Soviet-era air defense systems to Ukraine. Is the hesitation, to your mind, due to the possibility that would provoke Russia to extend this assault, this attack into Europe? And do you support any offers of S-300s? For example, the Turks have said they're not sending their S-400s. They're theirs and they need their own defense. Do you support any offer of S-300 air defense missile systems to Ukraine at this point?
Yes, I support this because this is the equipment the Ukraine needs the most, because they are against the defense for the middle and high altitudes, and Russia is dominating those two parts of the sky. So I support this, but I don't support speaking a lot about what we are giving them. I'm supporting strongly to deliver and not to speak about this. And there are some countries which are helping, but they are not speaking about this help. And there are some countries which are speaking. And of course, unfortunately, there are some countries which are reluctant to do something.
Do you want to be a bit more specific?
For those countries who are helping and they don't want to speak about it, I don't want to be specific. For those countries who are reluctant to help, we don't know for sure which countries they are, because some of the countries they are delivering the help, but they are denying it publicly because of different reasons.
This is really interesting. Sorry, I don't mean with respect, and I don't mean to butt in, but this is really interesting because we're being told that there's this real sense of unity, and let's be quite clear, there has been a real coming together by Europe and the US, by the NATO allies, to ensure this kind of pincer-like reaction on Russia. But are you telling me that behind the scenes, everything is not as unified in Europe as we might be led to believe?
Well, frankly speaking, as you said, our unity is much bigger than it was expected, especially bigger than it was expected from Kremlin. It was also bigger than I expected because I was aware of the details, and Russian aggression really found us on the left foot, unprepared, frankly speaking. But if we calculate everything what we are doing, I don't think it is enough. I strongly support the demand from President Zelensky delivered on the last NATO summit when he said, "Please, friends, give us 1% of your military reserves, and we will be able to defend ourselves." And we are not all together. We are not giving them 1% of our reserves. Some country, yes, some country even more.
I understand.
But not all.
Your country is one of Europe's most dependent countries in terms of Russian oil and gas imports. But you've expressed support for Europe's push to phase out that dependence. What are you doing to achieve that? And what will these short-term shock effects look like in Slovenia?
Well, first of all, thanks God, the spring is coming, so the winter is over, and we are doing everything we can to get rid of this dependency till the end of this year. We are speaking with neighboring countries, with some other countries for the alternative sources and also the routes of supply. We will build another pipelines. Yesterday I visited our neighbor in Croatia. We discussed how to cooperate with the increasing of LNG terminal in their country to be able also to supply Slovenia and some other countries of the Central Europe. So I think that this finishing the dependency on the Russian energents will happen much sooner than Kremlin is expecting. But of course, currently we are facing a really sad story, because with the payments for the Russian gas and oil and coal, we are practically financing the aggression and the war.
Are you prepared to pay for Russian energy in rubles while you are still dependent on it?
No. Nobody in Europe is prepared to pay in rubles. This is also against the contracts which were signed. And I think that the message from our ministers was very clear. I saw yesterday the message from the G7 ministers. So nobody will pay in rubles, I believe. Actually, we don't know how they look like.
Prime Minister, it's good to have you on, sir. I know you're a busy man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Slovenian,
and thank you for
Prime
everything
Minister,
you're
for you
doing
folks.
to covering.
Thank you. Thank you.